This is show 365 for the week of June 12th, 2016. Hey, everybody, welcome back. On this week's show, we're going to have Roy and Adam and me, and we're going to be doing Roy's latest trip report since he is the guy who's in the parks at least every single week now. So,
Yeah, so well, of
it,
course, I wasn't in the parks this time.
well, no, that's true. You were not, but you
I
were
saw
around
the
them.
I saw the parks from a distance.
See, that's
It
painful
was hard.
to see them and
It's hard.
not go into them.
It's hard to be down there and not go.
Yeah. And
Well, you're
so
a lot closer than we were, so
that's for
Yeah,
sure.
that counts.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
Roy was when Roy sent the pictures back, I felt like I was there, and I thought, "Okay, well, that'll have to be good enough for now." Go ahead, Adam.
So what are we talking about here? I was going to ask, what are we talking about? Let's tell everybody.
What are
Okay,
we talking about?
what are we talking about, Roy? Tell me what we're talking about.
Well, this past week, I took my wife down to Clearwater for a nice, relaxing celebration to celebrate her retirement from public education. And so we spent a few days on the beach, but really couldn't leave Florida without heading up to Lake Buena Vista and checking out Disney Springs since the recently opened town center was ready to receive us. So we drove up there on Sunday morning, which had been June 5th, just in time to get out of Clearwater to miss the tropical storm that was making landfall that day, and drove into Disney Springs. And really just to spend the day and to spend a night at the Wyndham there at Lake Buena Vista. So just a day before we flew back on Monday afternoon.
And so, well, then let's just get rolling here. So
Yes.
we're gonna
Yeah.
go. Yeah, you take us through this, Roy, so that I know what we're looking at, and so does.
Yeah. Well, it's a. I've driven. We drove from Tampa to Orlando, Lake Buena Vista, a couple of times here in the last year, and both times, thank God, it's been wide open and no traffic issues because I've heard some horror stories. So it was about an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes to downtown. Excuse me, to Disney Springs. And the first few picks there are just kind of driving in from the west, the newly remodeled roads, the median down the middle, the access to I-4. Again, I was driving and paying attention. It was a little busy, so I really couldn't actually look. I was just kind of snapping some pictures through the window, but I thought everybody might appreciate the views that you get as you drive in from the Epcot side of things. And of course, you can see the new pedestrian walkways and so forth. And that was really sweet. We got to the Wyndham and our room wasn't ready, unfortunately. So we checked our bags and proceeded to walk the 10-minute walk or less over to Disney Springs. And there was two pedestrian footbridges, one crossing the hotel drive, and then one crossing, I think that's Lake Buena Vista Drive, perhaps. That drops you right into to Disney Springs. Really, really convenient. These walkways are more than your typical walkway. They have elevators in them, so people with strollers or obviously wheelchairs can get up and over very easily. So very well done, very nicely done. And so drops you right into Disney Springs, a little bit to the, I think of my directions here, to the south of where you would normally get off of the buses. And I think that day the new bus,
Yeah, the new
uh,
bus loop.
yeah,
Yeah,
that I think it opened up that day because I didn't see any buses. I think I read elsewhere that it opened up that day or the day before. So
it's got to be better than what they had before.
yeah, it's a whole lot bigger.
Oof.
Um, certainly, certainly. But it kind of drops you right into kind of the town center area, and so we just kind of proceeded. Our goal was to head for Jock Lindsay's and have a little appetizer, kind of decompress a little bit, and just kind of soak it in. So we wandered through. We actually stopped at Dockside Margarita and got a margarita for the walk, and that was delicious.
Oh
But
well, yes, you're a
just kind
margarita
of,
connoisseur.
I'm sorry.
I said you are a margarita connoisseur.
I do like margaritas.
Yeah,
I don't drink a bunch of them, but I do. They're a tasty drink, and wasn't smoking hot day, but it was reasonably warm, overcast because that front was moving in on the coast, and so the cloud cover was pretty prominent. But wandered through the new town center area. Uh, my wife wouldn't let me get any of the poutine. Really didn't want any because it would have just spoiled the day for any other food. But someday I will go to the
yeah,
poutine.
putting gravy on your stomach when I'm sure it was hot out there.
Yeah,
Ugh,
yeah, but
no.
I know it would have been good.
Yeah.
But really, really beautiful space though. This town center, wide walking spaces. The architecture is really traditional Florida architecture. The light colors, kind of the orangey roof tile and so forth. But really, really pretty. Had a nice welcome center that we kind of checked out. And there's some pictures later on of some of the artwork in there in the lobby, which kind of beckons back to, the backstory of Disney Springs and shows some pictures. One I noticed here looking through them, the picture on the wall has a building and it says, what does it say? Ice something like where you would buy ice. And today that's where Sprinkles is. So it's the same building, kind of the same view that I have in the pictures, and it was kind of cool. So if you're looking through the pictures, you might take note of that one. When we get to it, I'll kind of point it out. But just a beautiful area. You can still tell they're doing some touch up work. There's a picture, with a step ladder out, and not sure if they were just touching some paint up or doing what on the facade of one of the buildings. I love
There are
the
quite
color of the. Go ahead.
there's quite a few walls up for new restaurants still yet to
Yeah,
come, or
yeah,
like around what's it called? It's Planet Hollywood, but where it used to be. Like there's
right.
walls there still too.
It seems like that's the area that really is under the most construction right now. It
Okay.
just looked a little. I mean, you can see in the pictures,
Oh
they got
yeah,
stuff
right.
wrong with that.
Back to the Welcome Center picture, the first one you have here, right
Hmm.
to the right, you can see the top of Planet Hollywood right there.
Yeah,
So yeah, now I
yeah,
see where this is. Okay.
and it's kind of odd too because I mean that Planet Hollywood just seems to stick out like a sore thumb.
Hmm.
And I know they're going to change it,
Yeah, I wonder
and I'm
how
sure it'll fit
much.
in when they're done.
I mean, of course, they'll be changing the colors and stuff like that of it. But yeah, I know
Hmm.
what you're saying. Everything else looks finished and fresh,
Yeah,
and then there's like a rusty ball of something sitting there in the middle of.
it's like what is
Yeah,
that?
Yeah, I
yeah.
think it you can see it clearly needs some work still. Like it's the same. Well, when we get to that picture, I'll comment about it. But anyway,
Yeah, yeah. So, we just walked around and didn't spend a lot of time in the shops. We did walk in a few shops. Had to go into the Alex and Ani shop and did end up buying a bracelet, one that she'd kind of been looking at for a couple years. So it was okay. But um, a couple pics here of Morimoto's. They've got a nice little carry out spot just for some counter service food if you just want something quick. Not a huge menu. I do have a picture of the menu there, and not a lot to it, but a nice place to probably stop and grab a bite and kind of it's undercover. The seats are undercover, like a porch area. So it'd be a nice place to sit and grab a bite. Then we got into Jock Lindsay's, and like you said, Doug, I mean the inside was pretty well full, wasn't packed, but all the seats were gone. But out on the deck, plenty of seating, and again, really really nice day. Again, cloud cover, decent little breeze. Nice service, very friendly service. My wife's got some allergies, and they're always really, really good about that. Chef came out, sat at our table, and just chatted with us for a little while, and told him what we're thinking about. And we just got a couple appetizers. It's called Dr. Elsa's Shrimp BLT Flatbread, and the picture, that thing was so good. Um, had pesto lining on the flatbread, and then some arugula and bacon and this marinated shrimp, and
mm,
oh my gosh, it
looks
was
so
good.
good.
It was
Looks so good.
delicious.
Yeah.
And then we got some calamari, and the calamari was really good. It wasn't just the rings. You also had the smaller squid that they fry up, which is always. And Patty gave me those, so she doesn't like eating those, but um, so it's better than just getting the rings. And the breading was really really nice, nice and light. They were well done. Everything was hot. Served well,
Was
and
that sauce spicy?
yeah, it was.
A little
They
spicy.
call it
Okay.
harissa aioli, and
Yeah.
it had a little, almost like a little chipotle kind of
Oh yeah.
tang to it,
Yep.
but it was real good. And so got a few pictures of the boat sitting out there on the side, which is additional seating. And again, this was about, what time was this? Pushing 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday. Um, so not crazy busy. Got a few pictures of the inside as we were kind of walking out, and just reminded me of why we appreciate Disney and the Imagineers, because the effort that they went into to really bring the story of this place alive is impressive.
And I think that's the
Um,
fun of it. I really, yeah. I mean, I've heard ups and downs. I've heard both things about food and I've heard people complain they thought the place was too small. I see reasonings and every bit of that. As far as food, I don't know. I I find most food to be almost anywhere. It's pretty good most of the time.
Hmm.
And so when I hear people complain lately, about food and things like that, sometimes I find maybe they're local Orlando people and they're a little jaded to to what all's going
Well,
on. So
and I think there are some people that just like to complain. I
yeah,
mean,
that could be it. But I
seriously.
think that every time that I've seen the food there, and of course I walked in, but I only walked in quickly to get something and I walked out because I didn't
Hmm.
have time. So, but I thought the place looked comfortable. It wasn't horribly loud like a lot of places you go into. They're very loud,
No,
even with the
you're
high
right. It wasn't.
ceilings. Right. So I enjoyed that just quickly by just walking in. The people that the cast members in there, they were great. They were very nice, very helpful with what
Hmm.
I needed, even though I wasn't really buying food. I just came in to get something and then leave. They were still great. So,
Right.
yeah, I still want to go in there. So,
Yeah, I definitely will go back. What was interesting is we walked up and there's a picture of the outside there, and you can see on the left hand side there's like a little covered area, a very small covered area, and there's a booth there, kind of blocked by one of
yes,
the legs of this supports of this structure. Um, and there was a cast member out there, as if taking ADRs or saying, how many will be? Are you looking for seats? And I walked up and I said, because thinking it was, well, this isn't this open seating. Don't we just go in and try to find a seat? And I walked up and said, so there'd be two of us, and she goes, oh, it's open seating. I said, "Well, what are you doing out here then?" And she said, "Oh, just hanging out." And I'm not sure what purpose she was
well,
serving, but
actually, those are one of the people that I asked, "Hey, can I just go in and buy this cup?"
yeah,
And so I guess for that reason, she served purpose for me.
yeah, true. And I was saying that, it kind of dawned on me that that she's probably just out there just to answer questions because it's new enough. But
Yeah.
I really, really enjoyed the place. Really enjoyed going there. And again, just had a couple little things. But tell you what, if you ever go there, get that shrimp flatbread. That
Yes,
that
yeah,
thing
and
was
I don't like
out of
shrimp.
sight.
I don't like
Cool.
shrimp, so but yeah, but no, they have a lot of other things in there that interest me a lot. So,
Yeah.
So last year when we went to downtown, well, it was downtown Disney converting to Disney Springs. We came out of the garage and there was a cast member just standing there, and he basically his job was to, just like when you're in the parks, to help you get around.
Hmm.
So I'm wondering if this may not be a permanent thing where it may not necessarily be somebody who works for the restaurant, but is just a cast member to answer questions that's
Hmm.
more knowledgeable than just the
well, and
restaurant. You
it's
know what I
let's
mean?
Right.
face it, it is
Right.
frustrating when you go into someplace new and you don't know where your way around, and there's
Right.
nobody there. There's nobody.
Right.
So I think
Yeah.
it's good. That's good.
So
Right.
anyway, I wouldn't surprise me if they do this. Just that's the difference between Disney Springs and any other mall you go to. So
Hmm. Yeah, and just talking about the parking garage, it was neat how they just emptied it was a line parking garage that we saw, but how you empty right into the
yeah.
street. I mean, right into the area. You walk down, come down the escalator, and you're in it.
Yep.
You don't have to hike any further. You're there.
Hmm.
That was pretty nice. So then we left there and just kind of again wandered around. And the paddlefish, the old,
Fulton's Crab House.
Fulton's. Yeah, thank you. It looks it's yeah, again kind of a spot that is just, I mean, paneling's pulled off. It definitely
They're
is
working on it.
in
Hmm.
yeah in transition and just kind of out of place. But I'm sure the paddlefish will be a very very nice restaurant once they're all done with it. Again, a lot of new food places. Really excited about maybe going back there sometime. I mean, it's been a long time since we've carved out a day or half a day to go to Disney Springs
Or
or
you
downtown
even
Disney in
wanted
the
to.
years past.
Yeah, I mean, even wanting to do that
But
is
I
something.
see that happening now.
Yeah.
Maybe going there for dinner because there's a lot of nice restaurants there.
Yep.
And we'll kind of get to that later.
And
But
that's kind of my
just some
plan.
general pictures.
I'm staying in Old Key West when I'm there on this next trip,
Hmm.
and I would like to actually just take the boat, nice leisurely boat ride over
Yeah,
and just go to eat dinner there somewhere one night.
yeah, because there's definitely a lot of options.
Yeah.
Some really good food. So I mean, the place is looking great. I mean, obviously the marketplace side has been pretty well done. They've just kind of they got the walkway bridge over where the that restaurant was and is long gone. Very very pretty place. And I
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
the
I
room.
love that stuff that hasn't changed. It's kind of like, oh, now I know where I'm at. So like
Right.
for
Right.
one, Saratoga, you can see Saratoga there, and then the Lego dragon thing in the
Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
That's
There's familiar.
I have a picture from like 1997 of
Mm-hmm.
that thing. Me
Mm-hmm.
being next to it. So, but then that walkway was really, I think it wasn't an added feature. Like it wasn't there before, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, and I remember last summer we took that thinking, oh man, this cuts off such a walk if you want to get
Yeah.
across.
Yeah, and they've got
So,
some kiosks there, selling different things. There's some food and then some merchandise. So um, I think it's been very well done and very very nice place, and definitely a place to check out on your next trip. This is the Wyndham at Lake Buena Vista, which is right across the street from Disney Springs. And the hotel is kind of in two parts. You've got the tower rooms, which is what we stayed in, and then you've got like the wings. As you see when you walk in this room, very standard hotel room, two queen beds, recently remodeled. We were on the theme park side, which gave us a real nice view of Disney Springs, Epcot, and in the distance, Animal Kingdom, the studios, and off to the right, Magic Kingdom. Very, very nice, comfortable space. Nothing fancy at all. The room has some extra seating that's tucked underneath that console where the TV is. There was a refrigerator in the room, and I would definitely recommend it. The bathroom, nicely done, new granite countertops. Again, a lot of these hotels are. I've been there a long time, and it's a matter of which ones have been recently remodeled and cleaned, repainted, refurbished, and this one definitely has been. But if you stay there, definitely would recommend getting a room in the tower. And for me, the theme park side was definitely worth a few extra dollars, so you could, if you want to, watch the fireworks outside.
Yeah, because if you're not standing in the tower, it looks like you're standing at a motor inn or something.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. The two wings of this place are kind of a typical hotel motel kind of setup. Doors on the outside, open to the outside rather, but very very nice. You can see the picture. I mean, like the gardens inside there. Those courtyards are nice. Tennis courts, nice pool area. We didn't have any time to swim, but nice pool area. Lobby was very very nice. Don't have any pictures of the lobby, but the lobby was very very nice, very spacious.
what
Uh,
floor was this on? Like toward
the
the top?
12th floor. Yep.
And how
I
many
think
are
I
there?
think there were 16 floors.
Okay. All
So we
right.
were pretty close to the top.
So there's a large selection for being able to see the theme park if you
Yeah,
wanted to.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
Cool.
So
To cut to the chase here, would you stay there again?
I would stay there again.
Okay.
I would
And
stay there
you
again.
booked it through Travelocity or?
I actually booked it through Expedia.
Okay.
They had a little sale going on, and I again think it was about 150 all in. So
It's
not bad.
to be that
And this
close.
was a weekend, right?
It
Sunday?
was a Sunday. Yep.
Sunday,
Yep.
so for 150 on a Sunday. All right.
Not too bad. Now, wouldn't stay there for a whole trip just because that's not in our nature to do that. But for a short trip or something, definitely makes sense.
Okay, next we're on to the fountain, and so new fountain, Mickey has
New fountain there, and that is right where the walkway drops you into the new area, and of course, a little hidden Mickey fountain. Kids were digging it that day, and didn't pick up on the fact that it was a Mickey until we came back after our room was ready and realized it and walked back and tried to get a picture of all the fountains going off so you could see the Mickey because they do the traditional kind of fountain here, fountain there. They all go off and one sputters here, and so had to kind of wait till they were most of them were shooting water out. And then some pictures there of Rainforest Cafe and the flames shooting out of the volcano, which I don't recall seeing in a long time.
Okay, and that's
I guess
it's because it's been down for construction because it kept catching on fire up there whenever it would go off. So they actually ripped the top of it off and rebuilt everything from there up. So and it looks like it's working really well now.
yeah, and it definitely that there was enough noise to it that it caught your attention and you stopped to look. Definitely drew your eyes to it. And these next pictures are of the Welcome Center inside, and it was pretty busy.
It actually is not as crowded as what I thought it would be, but this is I mean, people are taking up the seats, and it's
taking
nice.
up the seats, and I'm guessing they may have been waiting for some reservation help, perhaps at the restaurants. Maybe just getting some information. I'm not sure
Maybe just
exactly.
sitting in the air conditioning.
Just taking a little break from the heat. Again, it wasn't super hot, but for some people, and you can see them. There's like a desk there, a work center there that had a couple computers, and people were typing things in. So
Hmm.
I'm guessing they're making reservations for dining
Was it?
and so
What
forth.
about Wi-Fi and or charging stations? Was that there? Do you know?
You know what? Um,
Didn't look.
didn't even look, and I'm
Okay.
trying to
I'm
see
looking to
here.
see in
I'm
the
guessing there probably were some, but I don't see
Okay.
yeah, I
anybody.
don't see anybody with a cord charging
Uh-uh.
anything.
Yeah. I mean, I was just thinking, you know, this is not like you won't come get some coffee and sit. I mean, unless you brought it from outside in, but reservation help, that makes sense. And I'm guessing they'd sell theme park
And
tickets and give you
Wi-Fi,
True.
directions
I'm sure it's
to your
free
True.
Wi-Fi.
resort, all that travel stuff that really is just helping you on your Disney vacation, even if you're not staying at the parks, Disney
Right.
parks. So
It looks like
Right.
yeah,
okay.
busy place, so it's getting its use. That's
It
good.
So
was.
what are these photos? Aren't they supposed to have like? Isn't Disney Springs focused on like four towns come together? Some sort of. Is that what these
Yeah.
photos are?
Yeah. They represent the area years ago when they were the towns, and you can see the first one there is you've got cars driving around the fountain, so there are cars on the road. And then the next one, you see people walking their dog and older cars, even like from the 40s, 30s, and 40s, driving around. So definitely the storyline goes back. Here's one of the Expo, 1950, and
Mm.
it has the Cirque du Soleil tent there, and
It's neat.
actually a locomotive running through on that elevated track area over where the food trucks are. Have a train sitting on that, so what it used to
Huh.
be back in the day. Then a tree with a swing on it overlooking the water. And the next one has the ice house. I couldn't think of what it was called, but yeah, that building. It's called the ice house in the picture, is where Sprinkles is.
Oh, okay.
And
Cool.
if you were to turn around from where that picture was, you'd be looking at Morimoto's.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah.
Neat.
And
Neat. I
then of
like how
course
they
you see the boathouse and the paddle boat there, and they got a water plane sitting on the water, somebody in a canoe. So it's kind of neat how they've kind of, again, the story's there and they're building on it. I'm sure they have room to grow with that, but just kind of connecting and
actually
bringing
it's
this place
kind of
to
neat.
life.
Yeah, because they keep the narrative going everywhere around you. That's the immersive side. So I
Right,
like that. I like that.
right. And so this next picture,
Oh, yeah. This is that water.
Yeah, the
Oh,
beautiful
yeah,
springs.
so awesome.
it's beautiful. Looks so refreshing. And they did not. We weren't there super late. Maybe our dinner was done maybe around 8. Hoping they would have had those fountains in the water lit or turned on or whatever, but they did not. So they may turn those on eventually later in the day, but we didn't see them lit. So
It's neat because they use the rock though to look like it's very deep.
yeah, just like a spring,
Yeah,
like a
it's
Yep.
so
spring. You can see
neat. Yeah.
when Alex and I went down to Florida years ago to do our open water dives to get our scuba certification, we did it in a spring down there.
Yeah.
And it's kind of what it looked like. You had a big cave hole that you went down about, I don't know, 60 feet, and it kind of looked like this.
But this isn't
Uh,
really that deep, right?
no, oh
Right.
no,
Right. This
no,
is
I don't
all
think it's
through
more than
yeah,
2 or 3 feet
2 or 3
deep.
feet. Yeah, that's what I thought. So it's really awesome. These are some
But
It
they've
good
done
looks
a great
pictures
cool.
job.
because I've
Yeah,
seen a lot of pictures and a lot of video, and I've never seen any yet catch the depth of how this looks.
yeah,
So yeah, I like
it's
that.
really pretty. I love the color of that water, and it really offsets nicely with. There's one here looking over toward Morimoto, and the red
Yeah.
flags banners hanging down, and just the colors and the contrast is really pretty.
Well, Roy, these are really some of the best pictures I've seen of it.
Well,
So
thank you very
I'm
kindly. I
impressed.
appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm really
Uh,
impressed. Really impressed. So everyone that
from,
I've seen, I think people take them in the brightest part of the day. Like around 1 or 2 or something.
hmm
I don't. But you must have taken these later on. I don't know. There's something about how the light isn't hitting the water directly, so it's not just that brightness
Yeah.
coming off.
Yeah, and these are all done with my Galaxy S7 Edge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really
So
nice.
I bet the overcast clouds help.
definitely
You're right.
helped. I think
You're right.
you're absolutely right. Yeah.
So go down
Yeah.
during a hurricane, right? Or a
Yeah.
typhoon or whatever. Anyway, all right.
Tropical storm, yeah, a little help there. But a few pictures down there. I took a picture of the this new restaurant that's coming, Blaze Pizza. Looks like a nice place, right? Kind of across the water from Morimoto's, near the old Planet Hollywood. It looks like a nice indoor seating, outdoor seating pizza place, and you can only hope that the pizza is good, because Florida has trouble with pizza.
Says fast fired, so it must
Yeah,
be like
It's all going to come down
maybe
to
on a fire.
what is it? They
yeah.
say it all
Fire.
comes
Those
down to the
brick
water.
ovens. Yeah,
Isn't that what they say in Vietnamopoli, though? You got to use the
all
right
comes down to
water.
the water. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, it's critical. So now we're at those pictures of we walked by the old Planet Hollywood, and just I'm not sure what this is going to look like in the end. I'm sure it'll look great, but right now it's like, what the heck is
It's a
this thing?
rusted ball of
Yeah.
steel.
Well, you can like clearly see where the edge
Yeah.
of the sky pattern on the top. There's a big mark in the middle, like they'd removed something there, and it's obviously in progress. But
Yeah.
I'm sure that's going to get cleaned up and look
Oh
nicer.
yeah,
So,
it will. But I have not seen a picture or rendering of what it's going to look like, so
right.
I couldn't even wrap my mind around what it's going to
I
end up
thought there
looking
was
like.
something on the wall. I think I have a picture somewhere of
Do you?
it. Yeah, what it's going to look like. There's a picture
Okay.
of it on the wall right outside of it somewhere.
Did not.
I'll see if I can find the picture and I'll stick it in here.
Yeah, it may have been
So-
right in front of me and I didn't see it.
There's steel structure on the right of it. Are they adding a building there or something?
Yeah, and again, don't know what that is,
Don't
or if
know.
that's an extension
Of it.
of what they're doing there. I think that's what it
Okay.
is.
Cool.
And then we kind of wandered around and walked back into the space that had been open previously, just on the other
Right.
side of town center with the shops here, DCO, and a little narrower streets, more narrow streets.
Yep.
And we're looking back towards the Wyndham area. You can see the boathouse tower there and so forth. But some nice shops along here. And then you can see that Sprinkles store again, which if you were to turn around, you'd be looking at Morimoto's, but that's the old ice house. And that was cool. We went up, and there was quite a long line to get in there inside, and a much shorter line to use the ATM, the cupcake ATM, which is
Isn't that
kind of
funny?
cool.
That's funny though. So many people going to use that.
Yeah, it's
That's
pretty
awesome.
slick,
Yeah, that's great.
very quick, and it was nice. I got a carrot cake cupcake, which it was good. It wasn't great, it was good. It was fun. Some
So
good
good
icing,
novelty, but you're not going to run back there every time. Is that what you're saying?
no, probably won't. I mean,
Okay.
there's a lot of dessert things there that I would have that I can't wait to go back to. There's some chocolate, the ganache.
Yeah.
So there's some other stops I'll make next time I go back. But some more pictures of the water, town center area, and then Morimoto's, which is where we had dinner. Very neat place inside, and some of those pictures reflect just the decor. We're up on the second floor, which looks down over the main seating area, over to the sushi bar. There were two lounges, lounge downstairs and a lounge upstairs, where I think you could sit and order if you wanted to. And then I got some dim sum, some dumplings, which were quite tasty. Got a little sushi roll, spicy tuna roll. Got the ramen noodles with pork, roasted pork, which was nice.
It looks wonderful.
It was really, really tasty. We didn't want to get anything really big and heavy, and
Yeah.
didn't want to spend a fortune. So she got some chicken fried rice. I mean, it was good, a little dry. Allergies were a bit of a challenge there. They had sent me an allergy menu, but they no longer had one. I guess they changed the menu, and it was really maybe more for peanuts. Well, she's got a sesame allergy,
Oh,
which
dear.
all their Peking duck has sesame in it, marinated sesame oil and so forth. And so she was going to get this duck ramen or something or other, and she couldn't get anything that had any of the duck in it because it's all got sesame. So she got a chicken fried rice, a little dry, but probably because they had to leave some stuff out, unfortunately. So probably not a place we'll go back to just for that reason. But it was good. Decent service. Wasn't great, but decent.
I've heard that. I've heard
Yeah.
that their service is a little slow.
And they weren't super, super friendly.
Wow.
And when it wasn't bad. It wasn't. I
Yeah.
don't want to sound negative about it, but it wasn't
Just average.
just average.
Yeah,
Just
but
You
for the
average.
expect more than average.
yes, for the
You
Yeah.
cost,
expect more than average.
Yeah, if you look around this place, you expect a little more than average. But nice meal, nice environment. Glad I went. Um, we might go back, but I doubt it, just
well, I
because
mean,
it was kind of a challenge for her to eat
yeah,
there.
the look of everything looks fantastic.
Well, it's beautiful, really beautiful. You can see the stairway on the way. The last picture is walking down the stairs, and that kind of railing on the right hand side. It's about 2 feet wide, and it's almost like a ribbon that winds through, and you can see it in the picture before that from our table. Just kind of,
Hmm.
it was just an odd little design feature of the place, but very, very pretty. They did have our phone number and send us a text when our table was ready, so that was kind of cool. Um, so yeah, very, very nice place to eat, but there's a lot of nice places to eat there, and I'm looking forward to exploring those later.
Cool.
So
All
that
right.
gives you an idea of what the place is like. Definitely a whole lot more there to see than there ever was before, and definitely going to see a lot more activity there. There's no doubt in my mind. And what's happening with Disney Quest building? Is it still going
Nothing.
to be the MDA, or did that change again?
No, they lost that. That's not going
I
through.
thought they had, but I couldn't recall for sure.
Yeah, so right now, they're just saying it's going to remain Disney Quest. But the problem is I guess contracts or something was supposed to end on that at the end of this year.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe they'll just close it at some point and it's going to sit there empty.
Hmm.
I can't imagine. I don't know. It's a big space, so
It
you
sure
don't fill that
is.
with just anybody. I don't know. It's going to be curious to see what happens. So that's kind of the first stumbling block they've really run
Mhm.
into with
It's a huge footprint. It's a huge building there, so they got to figure something out.
well, it's kind of
So,
like Cirque du Soleil. If anything would ever happen with it, it's
mhm.
another one of those massive places that what are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those entertainment things that costed a little extra to go to. So not only did it bring the crowd out from the crowds in the streets, but it was an additional revenue, I'm sure, that just provided. And I heard people would say that when it rained like
Yeah.
crazy, all the kids would dump into Disney Quest.
Well,
And
because they would
Mm.
give them, I guess, these groups of kids, they would give them vouchers for Disney Quest
yeah,
to come in and do a certain amount of stuff. And so if it
Yeah.
rained, yeah, they all came right to that location. So yeah,
mhm.
what are you gonna do with all those kids? What are you gonna do with all those people in those groups if you do shut it down? So I think for now they're just gonna leave it running.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I see it becoming. They could make it video game oriented and continue that if they did a refurbed it. Like
Mhm.
Disney Infinity, everything Disney Infinity games are, and
Well, but the problem
now
is
with
now they've
mobile
Now they're
apps
not
and
discontinued.
doing
stuff.
that
Yeah,
anymore,
they
which is crazy.
discontinued
So,
Yeah,
Infinity. So
okay, is that? I don't know.
yeah,
I'm
I don't
sure they'll
know.
think of something, but
It's kind of
huh.
like they've boxed themselves into a corner here a little bit, but I'm sure somebody will figure out a way out of it.
yeah, they
I
get
mean,
paid big money to have
honestly,
great
what I'd like to
ideas.
see him do, I'd like to see him do a virtual reality place where you could do classic Disney rides again in there, so you could
Hmm.
go into
That would be
Horizons. And
fun.
wouldn't that be a blast?
That would be awesome.
And I mean,
Ride
honestly,
Horizons
yeah,
in there.
yep, you could
Oh,
ride
there you
any of the,
now you're onto
yeah,
something.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I think. And I think honestly, I think you get thousands of people who would pour in
I
to see
think you
that.
would. That's not a bad idea.
So
huh.
yeah, there we go. So
World of Motion and
yeah,
Yeah,
Horizons and
I mean, you think
Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
Alien Encounter.
Wow.
I mean, you
Yeah,
could hit them. There's so many. You could do the Skyway even if you wanted to. I mean,
yeah.
yeah, you spend a
cool.
day in like doing classic rides. I think it would be a blast.
That's a genius idea.
And I mean, honestly, if they wanted to throw in more on top of it, they could always throw in an area then too where they're working on future technologies and show you, roller coaster technologies or VR or immersive technologies,
Hmm.
animatronics. I mean, you could spend you could spend a whole day in there just seeing some of that stuff.
Hmm.
Hopefully, they're listening.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Tuning in. I'm sure they tune into our show.
Okay, guys. Well, I know, Roy, you got to run. So, once again, let me thank you so much for sharing this with us because I know it's hard when you're on a trip, especially a short one, to take time to take pictures and kind of share your trip with everyone else. But so we thank you a
Well,
lot.
it's my pleasure. My pleasure. It's fun to share the ins and outs and good and the bad of these adventures, and hopefully it helps somebody have a little better time.
Okay. Well, let's see here. Who's next in the parks again? Is it me in
I'll-
September?
I think you beat me
You.
there in September.
All right, I'm up to bat next. So
Yep.
hopefully I can come somewhere near doing as good a job as what you've done here, Roy. So Anyway, because I get rather scattered. So yeah, Adam knows all too well. Even in the 6 years since him and I were in the parks last together, I think it's been about
Oh
that
my
long.
gosh, it's been that long.
Yeah, it has been that long since
Yeah.
2010, right,
Wow.
Adam?
Wow.
2010.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Okay.
that's all right. You're like a little boy in a candy shop.
Yes,
It's
I
fine.
am.
You're allowed to be that way at Disney.
And it just
so.
keeps getting worse for me. So
Yeah, sure.
So anyway, all right. Hey
Now
guys,
you're yeah.
no,
that's-
go ahead. No, I'm what?
Now you're getting older and you're losing your mind as well.
Yes,
so
that's
it's
it.
even worse.
Yeah. So my
It's like,
grandkids, you know what's bad when your grandkids are looking at you like he's crazy,
yeah.
and they're talking because
Grandpa's
I'm
crazy.
yeah, grandpa's crazier about Disney than we are. What's the problem here? Anyway, all right. Hey guys, thanks again.